Okay, part 3. This is taking a lot longer than I thought. Let's try and get through this. Let's go back to the checklist. Alright, analysis section. The ideas are coherent and consistent. There is evidence of critical reflective thinking. The reflective means that you are showing that obviously things could have been done a little bit better. And you're being critical with the fact that, okay, maybe the evidence isn't that reliable, but based on this evidence, I can surmise this, but there could be more evidence to this. Judgments are made. Okay, so you're trying to answer the question as you analyze, should the business do this or should they not? And ultimately, there is evidence to back up the analysis and evaluation. That's key. So if we go back and see what Student X did well, analysis and discussion. So they split it into 4 parts: productivity, quality, motivation, finance, and that was it. So what they've done is they've listed all the main findings in the previous section, and now they're going to analyze those main findings. They're going to talk about whether this means the business should or shouldn't go ahead with the investment of the new machine. Sorry, one sec. Okay, so here productivity through the superior setup, blah blah blah, but consequently such efficiency allowed. Okay, so here they're saying bringing the new machine will ultimately lessen the labor costs. So this is giving an argument for bringing in the new machinery, and then they give the calculations. They summarize the figures, which again, if you want to see how they came to those figures, go to Appendix 12, interview with Mr. X. A good thing with having the interview is certain figures that you might not be able to gain, such as here the variable costs per unit. Gain that in the interview and back up those figures with the interview. Okay, so some of you might not be able to gain as much financial information as you want from the accounts, but maybe the interview can help plug those holes in your research. The furnishing industry in Dubai is particularly competitive. Who knew? And thus, the decreased price may serve to provide the company with a competitive advantage. So again, we're looking at arguments for here to do this. The company's principal competitor, Green Line Interiors, great name, charges their customers, etc. Now, where did they get that information from? Alright, so they got the information from the interview with the manager of the company who are competitors with Green Line. So it's not the best, most unbiased form of research, but at least there's some there. So in theory, SD's lesser price should attract further clientele. Customers are more willing to purchase furniture of the same quality at lower prices. And they got that information from the questionnaire. Alright, so any sort of argument they're making about the cost lowering, the cost of labour lowering, the prices, it's all backed up by research. So even though the research might not be, superb, a lot of it's based on the interview in this section, it's still backed up, and that's the main thing. Predicted increase in demand for furniture. So how did they get this predicted increase? Appendix 2, SWOT analysis, let's just see that one. That is not the SWOT analysis in Appendix 2. Okay, so that was the wrong reference. But actually, while I'm here, I'll discuss, convenient move, I'll discuss how you should set up your questionnaires. So the main thing to do with the questionnaires is to set them up so that they are all tick boxes, or almost all the questions are tick boxes. This makes it easy to analyze the data, or data, and it also makes it easy for the customers or the staff to answer the questionnaires quickly, so it motivates them to actually answer it. As one of the biggest problems is actually getting them to complete the questionnaire. So you can see here, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is the quality of the product to you? 10 being the highest. And they should really put their 1 being of no importance. In what other furnishing company would you prefer to purchase a wooden dining chair? So that's just going to be a one-word answer. On a scale of 1 to 5, how are you affected by the price? The decrease in the price. It's all tick box, so that's what you want to be aiming for. And then underneath here in Appendix 3, they've analysed each question using pie charts and graphs. Let me go to another questionnaire. So this questionnaire was to the manual workers. Again, it's all based on, all the answers are percentages and numbers. Very easy to analyse them, very easy to make graphs of, very easy to analyse figures in the analysis section. And again, another questionnaire. So you want to use that as a model for creating a questionnaire if you haven't done so already. There's the SWOT analysis. What were we looking at? I think it was something to do with the competition in the market. Competitive market, many factories in Jebel Ali. Alright, now they need to back up where they got this point. A lot of these points in the SWOT are backed up. Okay, you can see all these footnotes. Here they should have backed this up. This is basically their own opinion, so it's not really a valid point. Now the SWOT analysis, they could have brought that actually into the main body. Because it's in a table, probably not going to count that in the word count. There might be a bit too many points here to bring it in, but yeah, they could have brought it in maybe. So if you think you can bring the SWOT analysis in, if it's not too much writing, then bring it in because it won't count in the word count. Okay, so next bit, they're just analysing the quality if they bring in a new machine. And again, a lot of this has been figured out through the interviews and through their own calculations in the appendix. See Appendix 3, graphs and tables from questionnaire. So all of these calculations are based on good interviews and good questionnaires that are set out from the offset. So that's the most important thing. Make sure your research is good quality research to give you enough information and to give you easy, manageable information to analyze. And as you'll see throughout, they're trying to answer the question all the time, sticking to answering it. Is this introduction of a new machine going to be beneficial for the company? So at the end of every paragraph, they're trying to stick to that, to answering that question. Motivation of staff. Again, how is this going to be affected? So like, therefore, in order to further analyse the effects, I looked at questionnaires handed to manual labourers. Demotivation does not seem to be the greatest force in deciding whether to introduce the new machine. So it's always trying to answer the question, always backing it up with evidence. Now, the bringing in the theory and mixing in the theory throughout, I'm not sure this was done enough. It was done well, but not perfect. One of the theories that is being brought in actually throughout is the calculations, the finance section. So even things like calculating sales revenue, calculating payback and ARR of the project, that is using a theory. But trying to find theory other than finance, let's have a look. Okay, there is a topic on quality that we do in Unit 5, but it's not a strong theory because quality is just an obvious term. Motivation, okay, so they have brought in theory here. So they've integrated Herzberg and Maslow. So what they've done is they've looked at what have the staff said about how the new machine and how the current machine affects their motivation. And then from that research, from the answers from that research, they've linked appropriate motivational theorists to try and make sense of this answer. So see here, if the business were to continue production using the current machine, the consequence of the operator's inability to work may contribute to continuously decreasing motivation levels. As it says here, staff have said it breaks down the current machine at least twice every week. So this would lead to decreasing motivation levels. This is because, according to Herzberg, responsibility is a motivating factor, and therefore its removal can cause dissatisfaction and poor performance. So they're linking the fact that staff have said in the questionnaires that they're a little bit demotivated by the fact the machine breaks down. And as Herzberg said, we're motivated. One of the hygiene factors was the working environment. So if the working environment is poor and things are breaking down, then this will lead to dissatisfaction, demotivation. And then here they're bringing in Maslow to back up a point about if they bring in the new machine, then this will mean the staff will need more training. If they need more training and they get more training, this will help them reach self-actualization needs, which is one of the highest motivators. Okay, so theory brought in here again. And always they are trying to answer the question in the analysis. Here they've brought in Kruger's iceberg model. This is to do with the effects of change within an organization. We'll look at this very soon, actually, in 1.8. If we, you don't have to wait for us to look at it in class. It's very easy to read. 1.8. Change is a good unit to use for theory to help you in the analysis. More investment appraisal here. Ratios here. Okay, so as you can see, all the calculations again we're doing in the appendix. You just need to go to the appendix to see the full calculations, but all they've done is summarize the final calculation into their analysis to save the word count. So the analysis was good here. Could have integrated theory a little bit better, but it was always, sharp analysis, sticking to trying to answer the question, using the most important findings from the research to build arguments for and against bringing in the machine. So you want to aim for about 1,000 words for the analysis, which isn't much, which is why you need to be concise. Okay, so we'll move on to the conclusion and the recommendations, bibliography in the last section. And yeah, let me just check the checklist. Small joke there. Yeah, it could have been a bit more reflective thinking in the analysis. You could actually have a separate section in the analysis. So after the analysis you have evaluation. But I prefer if you just try and always evaluate. So you're always trying to answer the question during the analysis. So during your arguments you're always trying to answer the question, make a judgment. But what you want to try and do is be reflective, especially the end of the analysis. Talk about how some of the data might be a bit unreliable, how a bit more research might have been able to help the strength of that argument. Maybe a bit more questionnaires, a bit more research into the market might help the strength of those answers. Yeah, judgments are made, there's evidence. Okay, really I'm just trying to wind down the 15 minutes here. Doing quite well. 22 seconds left. I am actually going to wind this out. Nice to end on a whole number. 10. Goodbye.